take-home pay after taxes?
Take-home pay, yeah, no take-home pay after taxes and after my money to 401k.
Yeah, that's not the number. The number is not counting 401k, not counting insurance or anything else, just your after-tax income. And so how much would this number change if we didn't count your 401k?
So monthly, that number would change to about $5,600 a month combined for us on a monthly take-home pay.
Okay, meaning that 55% of your take-home pay at that point would be more like 40% of your take-home pay?
Yeah.
I'm guessing. I don't know the number on the house payment, but
Our house payment is $2,100.
okay. And if you did not put money in your 401k, what would your take-home pay be?
So I'm using two different incomes, so that's why it's a little bit difficult. So I'm using like my Uber income, which I earn like $1,400 a month on Uber, and then my full-time job, I have a salary for $80 in it, but take home usually if I do not include the 401k, I would increase my $3,800 biweekly payments to about $3,800 monthly payment to about, I would add like 100 or maybe like $220 because I only contribute with maybe $110.
You should be getting home with making 80. You should be getting home with 60 to 65,000. It's about 5,100 a month plus 1,400. So we're about 6,500 in this 4,100. So your house payment is probably about 30 to 35%, somewhere in that range of your real take-home pay, not counting. Okay. I'm just doing this in my head quick and dirty here. So you've got a strain, but I would stop your 401k until you get these other debts paid off. You've got another $30,000 in debt, not counting this house. What is that on?
I have $47,000 in student loans, and then I have another $10,000 in credit card debt, and then another $10,000 in like a quote from my IRA retirement.
What's still on your cars?
I paid off my cars last year.
Good. Okay. All right. So we're going to walk you up what we call the baby steps. Stop all saving, all investing temporarily. Have $1,000 in savings. Do you have any money in savings?
I do. I completed baby step number one.
Yeah, one is all. Only $1,000. You never have more than that.
It's like $1,300, but I just have like 10% of my income going into like a separate account for like a sort of saver.
Let's stop that. Okay, stop everything. $1,000 saved. Everything above that that's non-retirement. Begin to work your debt snowball that you pay off all your debts except your home, from smallest to largest amount. And you get all of that cleaned up. And you continue to work your butt off and be on a budget. Your house is probably going to work out okay. It's not great, but I think it's going to be close. Let's get 100% debt-free except the house. And you build your emergency fund in 3 to 6 months expenses. Then let's talk about the house. This is the relationship. We know what the kids are up to in USD Broyhi with the Drive at 5. Weekends of U175. What will your family do if you die? Did I get your attention? Good. If you're a father, mother, husband, or wife, it's your responsibility to have life insurance. No matter where you are in the baby steps, you have to deal with this right now. How will your family pay for the mortgage, put food on the table, or pay for education? How will they deal with retirement and stay the course for getting out of debt and accomplishing something with their lives? This is what life insurance is all about. I knew when I started this show it was something my listeners had to have, so I went out and found a company I could trust to offer the plans I believe in. That's why I've been talking about Xander Insurance for over 20 years. If you haven't dealt with this, please go to Xander.com or call 800-356-4282 and let them help. This is a priority. It's not expensive, it's not complicated, and you need to do it today. That's Xander.com.
Meeting to order. Could we have the roll call, please?
Mayor Segrist.
Present.
Vice Mayor Barden.
Present.
Commissioner Carlisle.
Present.
Commissioner Martinez.
Here.
Commissioner Warren.
Here.
We have a quorum, Your Honor.
Thank you. Would you join me in the Pledge of Allegiance? I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America
and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Good evening.
Dear God, thank you for this wonderful day. We ask that you would be with our city leaders and all of us who are in attendance as the business of our city goes forward. Help remind all of us that we're just a heartbeat away from you. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen. Thank you.
Thank you, Chuck.
If anybody didn't know who he is, that's Chuck Scruggs with the Central Christian Church.
See, we have no awards or proclamations, so we'll move on to the approval of the agenda.
And I do need to add an item at the last minute. Would be drainage for the ball fields.
Okay. Can we make it just before your city manager?
That'd be fine.
Okay. Can I approve of the agenda with the additional?
Make a motion, we approve the agenda as amended.
Second.
We have a motion by Commissioner Carlisle, second by Commissioner Warren to approve the agenda as amended. Any discussion? All in favor? Motion carries 5-0. We need to approve minutes. Can I have a motion to approve January 29th special meeting minutes?
Make a motion that we approve the January 29, 2019 special meeting minutes.
I'll second that.
Motion by Commissioner Harden, second by Commissioner Carlisle to approve January 29th, 2019 special meeting. Any discussion? All in favor? Motion carries 5-0. Now January 29th, 2019 regular meeting minutes.
Make a motion we approve the January 29, 2019 regular meeting minutes.
Second.
Have a motion by Commissioner Harden, second by Commissioner Warren to approve the January 29, 2019 regular meeting minutes. Any discussion? All in favor? Motion carries 5-0. Next is February 4th, 2019 special meeting.
I'll make a motion that we approve the February 4th, 2019 special meeting minutes.
I'll second.
Motion by Commissioner Harden, second by Commissioner Carlisle to approve February 4th, 2019 special meeting. Any discussion? All in favor? Motion carries 5-0. The next is items from citizens. If you would like to speak to us, please come up to the podium, give us your name and address, and try to limit it to about 5 minutes. Would anyone like to address the commission tonight? Are there any groups that would like to speak before the commission tonight? Yes.
Don't need to speak, we just want to introduce ourselves. We're Troop 73 Boy Scouts.
Okay.
So we're working on a merit badge, citizenship in the community. And one of the requirements is we come to a commission meeting and watch the process.
Would each one of you please stand and tell us your name so we kind of know who you are? Would you do that?
My name is Curtis Sidis, and I'm the Assistant Scoutmaster.
Okay.
My name is Schmidt. My name is Aiden Schmidt.
I'm Timothy Williard. I'm Malachi April. My name is Alexander Kerner.
I'm Aiden Rice.
I'm Matthew Rice.
Welcome. Thank you. Thank you for coming.
Thanks for coming.
Thank you, guys.
Welcome, guys.
The next is the consent agenda.
Make a motion, we approve the consent agenda as printed.
Second.
A motion by Commissioner Carlisle, second by Commissioner Harden to approve the consent agenda as printed. Number 7 is correction of July 24th, 2018
Can we vote?
City Commission meetings.
Can we vote?
Oh, I'm sorry.
That's all right.
All in favor? Motion carries 5-0. Correction on the July 24th, 2018 City Commission meetings. We need to correct the header date to July 24th on all pages and correct the signature.
I make a motion, we correct the July 24th, 2018 City Commission minutes.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Carlisle, second by Commissioner Harden to approve the corrections on July 24th, 2018 City Commission meeting. Any discussion? All in favor? Motion carries 5-0. Next item is sports turf. Purchase of a Broyhi Mini 60 4001 XLR boom sprayer. Welcome, Brad.
Good evening, Brad.
Mayor, Commissioners, in your packet is a memo. We're requesting to purchase this for the athletic facilities. Currently, we're sharing a sprayer with the Parks Department. And as you know, anytime you're applying chemicals, time is of the essence. Being temperature out here can go from 60 one day to 90, and then we can't spray anything.
And the wind can go.
And, well, yeah, the wind's a whole different story out here. Because with us sharing, I mean, it takes them a couple of weeks to spray, and then we're kind of left at their mercy to get our stuff taken care of. Plus, if we can, we'll utilize both sprayers and maybe double up and get everything done a lot quicker.
This is just for the ball field only?
This is for the athletic fields, yes. But if we need to use it other places, we will use it other places.
And I see here we had $3,000 budgeted for it, and since it's coming in $1,020 higher, is all of that, including the original $3,000 budget, coming out of the beautification portion of 1 cent sales tax?
And we feel like we can absorb that in the remainder of our budget. And I'll take the blame for that. I couldn't imagine it would go up that much in a couple of years.
Yeah, I'll make a motion, we approve the sports turf purchase from the Broyhi Mini 600 400 XLR broom sprayer for the amount of $4,020.
I'll second that.
Motion by Commissioner Carlisle, second by Commissioner Martinez to purchase for the purchase of a Broyhi Mini 6400 XL sprayer from Broyhi Company in the amount of $4,020 from the 1 cent sales tax. Any discussion? All in favor? Motion carries.
Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Brad.
And just for clarification, the mayor said from the 1 cent sales tax, but the motion didn't. I
I'm
assume that was the
sorry.
intention of the motion. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay.
All right. Thanks.
Sorry.
That's fine.
Thanks for catching that. The next item is the airport install perimeter fencing project.
Time's up.
Good evening.
Hello, Brian.
Hey, Mayor, Commissioners. Last year, when the FAA was doing their inspection, they saw coyotes run across, so that's why we're doing this. Through the ACIP, it's the Airport Capital Improvement Program. Trying to go through the FAA, get a grant with that. So staff's recommending that we approve the perimeter fencing installation project and approve the agreement for services with H.W. Lochner in the amount of $39,000 with 5% grant match funded with the economic development portion of the 1 cent sales tax. A lot of this has to do with the FAA inspectors seeing the coyotes. So,
That portion that's highlighted is the only part that's going to get the fence there on the airport?
Yes, that is the actual where the fence is going to go.
That other part's the old drag strip and stuff that they don't use, it's not used no more?
Right.
Okay.
How high is the fence going to be?
10 foot tall. And it'll have I can't remember what they're called, the outriggers with the barbed wire around it. Then it'll have a 3-foot skirt buried in the ground to keep the coyotes from digging underneath.
Nice.
So
10 feet high, and why do I need razor wire on the top?
Because the FAA said so.
So that way the deer still can't jump over it. So.
And the memo does indicate that we're looking at multiple sources of grant monies, and we'll just see what happens with that. Because Congress passed a $5 million special grant program, and so we've applied for that. $5 billion, excuse me. So we've applied for that as well as AIP money.
Yeah, let's hope we get the whole $5 billion, will you?
So our portion will come out of the airport funds, though? Our portion will come out of the airport funds?
It'll come out of the
economic development.
So, yeah, the 5% match is all we pay. The 95% is what the FAA
And that's provided we get approved, right? It's not, okay.
So what are we supposed to approve, the whole 2 million or
No.
the 115,000?
Just right at the bottom, read that at the bottom,
Contingent.
staff recommendation.
Yeah. I'll make a motion to approve the perimeter fencing installation
Oh,
project and the agreement for services with H.W. Lochner in the amount of $39,000.
I'll second.
We have a motion by Commissioner Harden, a second by Commissioner Martinez to approve the perimeter fencing installation project and approve the agreement for services with H.W. Lochner in the amount of $39,000. Any discussion? All in favor? Motion carries.
Thank you very much, Brian.
Grant match also?
Do we need to word that in there, Lynn?
Have we already been told we're getting the grant match, or is that something that's still?
We have to wait on it.
We have to apply for it. And we're still
We're
waiting.
having to go through the bid process and then apply for the grant.
Okay. I guess my question is, if we don't get the grant,
That was actually why I didn't include it, because I figured no matter what, we're expending the $39,000, the grant's
do we
not
have
guaranteed.
Well, that's the question. Do we have a choice? I don't
More,
think we.
more than likely, this will be approved through the FAA because they see it as a high priority project for safety, for the,
That's why it's kind of moved up the list.
yes.
I can
We're
imagine.
having to do a safety inspection before every commercial flight. So that's 3 times a day.
To check for the coyotes and things.
Okay, after we put this fence up, are we gonna have to still do that?
No.
Nope.
I can amend the motion if necessary.
Well, I'm just, Debbie, on this, the grant, is it the intention to go ahead and go forward with this 39,000? Let's say we don't get the grant regardless. Are we gonna go forward with it? Do we have the funds to go forward with it?
I think we're going to have to go forward with it, get it designed, and they have to do an environmental study. That's something that they're required before we go to the next step.
Do we have to hire and execute the contract with them in order to apply for the grant to reimburse for the 39? Is that how it works?
I think it's all a step-by-step process. You have to do this before you can do the next thing. So they're requiring this environmental impact study.
Right.
And that's part of what this is. The next
Right.
step will be doing the specs and putting the bid documents together. And that's another step before we actually get the bids.
Which is required by the FAA.
So I think we're going to have to do it regardless.
Right, well, that's what Vice Mayor Harden made the statement, he left it off because we're going to pay it regardless. I think he's correct in that from what I'm hearing from everyone. Okay? Then obviously if we get the grant, then we can offset it later. My question is if, in the meantime, we pay for this $39,000, where is it going to come from while we wait to get reimbursed with this grant money that we may or may not get? Should be a Chris question, probably.
I believe that on this, normally it's something that we would pay for with airport land sale funds, but since those are kind of lacking, I mean, that's why we're looking at the economic development portion. So that, I would say that the 5% grant match looked at for EcoDevo is fine, but if we don't get the grant, I guess that's a good point. We could potentially be paying out as much as $39,000 for the Lochner agreement expense. So,
Well, it sounds to me like we may not know if we get the grant money until after we've already expended the $39,000.
I guess,
is that correct?
That's pretty much true. We're going to have to go through all these steps before we can even go up for bids and then apply for the grant afterwards. But I think we have a pretty good chance of getting it because the FAA did witness that, the coyotes, and we do have some bird strikes. Not very many, but we do have some in the past. So that's...
Well, as a suggestion, could we possibly possibly consider the agreement for services with Lochner in an amount not to exceed $39,000 from the economic development portion, understanding that if we get a grant, that amount might very well be less. But I guess my other question is say if the grant doesn't come through, or if the grant comes through and we've already paid more than 5%, is that going to be?
It's all reimbursed 95%.
I don't have a problem with coming out of economic development because, the airport is economic development.
But I see what your question is are we looking at only approving the 5% or approving the?
Well, the motion was to approve the 39,
Yeah,
which I think is correct, which we need to do regardless, and we need to pay it, and then if we get the grant, then they're gonna reimburse the city 95% of that. But in the meantime, where's the 39,000 coming from? Which.
Okay, yes,
is it
economic development.
Tax, economic development.
Okay. So if that's the intention of everyone,
yes,
then that should be, you should amend your motion to include that language on it.
Okay, no problem. Go ahead and amend the motion to approve the perimeter fencing installation project through the agreement for services with H.W. Lochner in the amount of $39,000 to be funded out of the economic development portion of the 1 cent sales tax program.
I'll second that.
Okay, a motion to approve the agreement for services with H.W. Lochner in the amount of $39,000 with funds coming from the economic development portion of the 1 cent sales tax. Says Commissioner Harden. And who approved that? Who seconded?
Mr. Carlisle.
Commissioner Carlisle. Okay. Any discussion? All in favor?
Oh, no problem.
Okay. Motion carries. Amended motion carries.
Thank you, Brian. Thank you, Devin.
Thank you, Brian. The next item is the police department purchase of 4 tasers, 4 taser ×2.
Good evening, Chief.
Good evening, Mayor, Vice Mayor, Commissioners. It's been a while since I've approached you for requests, but tonight I come with you with several. All of the items I have that I'm requesting tonight are coming out of our approved budget. Last year, when I submitted our 2019 year budget, tasers and the following items that I'm going to request tonight were put into that budget and approved. So tonight we're starting off with the tasers, of course. Tasers are a part of our less lethal use of force program. It's considered pretty much standard equipment for the officers to have on their person or their belt system. We're asking for 4 tasers to be purchased, and this is updating our taser program with new technology. Our old tasers are not being manufactured anymore, and they're not even being serviced anymore, so we can't buy replacement parts to fix them if they ever break. But along with updating the program is a fixed plan to year by year add 4 new updated tasers to our inventory. Each taser has a cost of $1,220. It has to have a holster to carry the taser at a cost of $65, and then a battery to operate it at $65. Total cost for each taser, therefore, is $1,363, and times 4 would be $5,452 paid to Axon Enterprises, formerly known as Taser Incorporated. And again, that was put into our budget and approved upon. So we're just simply moving forward with approved items that were in our budget. So I therefore ask you for permission to go ahead and purchase 4 tasers at a total cost of $5,452.
Can you tell me how many X2s you have now?
We have approximately, I would venture to say, I'm not exactly sure, but we have about 30. We're up to 38 officers right now, and I believe 4 were purchased last year. So we're just adding 4 more to it of the new tasers. The older tasers are still functioning at this time. And so we're
How long have they been making the X2?
The X2? Approximately for the last, well, this new technology, it's my understanding that this new X2 came out about 5 years ago. So we're kind of behind in updating our technology with the tasers.
I'm just wondering if we're going to be spending money and then next year you're going to come and tell us that, you know, we have a new taser out because...
It's not expected. Our taser instructor researches taser quite often, and to teach it we need to visit that website to remain current in our teaching of the officers with the use of the taser. So any updates by taser have been usually put out well in advance of 1 year. And it's quite an expensive technology, I understand, but for 4 tasers at a cost of $5,000 where we can avoid shooting somebody. And the taser's not designed or intended to replace deadly force, but we have several incidents in our own department here where the taser was used instead, saving us from quite an expensive lawsuit. So it's a very good trade-off financially.
Well, and I would expect, since they're more current models, that parts and service will be available for them for years to come.
Yes, yes.
I'll make a motion that we approve the purchase of 4 Taser X2 models in the amount of $5,452.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Harden, second by Commissioner Martinez, that we purchase 4 X2 tasers in the amount of $5,452. Any discussion? All in favor? Motion carries 5-0.
Now, Ronnie said he wants to try them out as soon as you get them in.
Well, we have an officer right there that...
I'll try one.
You'll try it on Jack?
Yeah.
You'll try it once.
Yeah.
That's the magic number. Well, thank you very much. The next item I have for request tonight is that we're going to go ahead and request the purchase of 2 new police vehicles added to our fleet. In last year, when I submitted the 2019 year budget, I proposed 3 vehicles. With this being only February at this time, I'm only going to request 2 vehicles out of the 3 at this time. Later on in the year, if we do need that 3rd vehicle, I'll have the option of coming to you again at that 3rd vehicle. But right now, I'm trying to save a little bit of money since this is the first part of the year. So we have submitted bids to Ford and Dodge for a medium-sized police package vehicle, and the bids given back to us indicate that the Dodge Durango from Chrysler Corner came back at a value of $29,460 per unit. This is a police-rated vehicle. It's all-wheel drive. It will have the pre-wiring plug-and-play, so to say. It's not fully equipped as the Fords in the past, but the wiring is set up so that when we get the equipment, we just basically have to plug into that pre-existing wiring package for police-serviced vehicles. Therefore, since each unit is $29,460, requesting 2 of them will be at a cost of $58,920. And that will be to Chrysler Corner, a local business here in town who has done a very good job of working with us and answering all of our questions. And so therefore I request tonight to purchase 2 vehicles from Chrysler Corner at a total cost of $56,720.
Are we going to have to go through there and do a whole package, or?
Well, that's what I was
each
going to say. I
individual?
would go ahead and do your presentation. Basically say, hey, I need to purchase X dollars for equipment, X dollars for graphics.
Okay.
And then they can make the motion, just
Sure,
bang,
put it all
bang,
in one
bang,
deal.
ABC.
For the whole thing?
We don't need to make a long, drawn-out
Okay.
presentation, just, hey, we automatically know if you need vehicles, you need equipment.
Fantastic.
You need graphics.
And just as a question before we move on for Chris and Chief, how much did we actually budget and set aside per vehicle for the 3 vehicles that we budgeted for the purchase of the PD this year?
I don't have my 2019 budget in front of me.
I was going to say I didn't bring mine
But
either.
it was basically, with the 3 vehicles alone, I believe was somewhere around $90,000, $87,000, I think, $87,500 or something like that.
So with these Durangos, are we actually going to come in less even after the 3rd vehicle purchase projectedly to be able to have excess funds left over from what we budgeted?
Yes. I was approved to purchase 3 vehicles at about last year's vehicles were about $29,000. And we were anticipating Ford to be at about the same cost, which surprised us this year. But I've gotten word that Ford, from the dealership, has told us that we're not even going to be available to purchase the Fords until around May, which will be about September for availability. And I was speaking with the police chief up in Garden City and Dodge last week, and that's a shared delivery of information right there. So Ford is busy with some other projects, but the Dodge Durangos came at a better bid, and I'm completely satisfied with the specs. And we're also going to consider a color change to our fleet. These vehicles are going to be a granite or a gray in color vehicle. With our blue paint scheme, I've gotten feedback from the officers and some of the public, and they're really liking those colors there. So they're highly visible. But it's a change in color.
Absolutely.
And as requested, I'll go ahead and go forward with the rest of the equipment. Of course, when you buy a police vehicle, you got to buy all the equipment that goes with it and so forth. So therefore, with the installation of the wiring and all the circuits and adapters and so forth, we're going to be doing business with Textile. And that's going to be a total cost of $3,465.92 to outfit the equipment into those vehicles. The graphics for the vehicles is at a reduced cost of the previous black and white graphics that we have on our older vehicles. This is a newer color, a newer design. Like I said, we're getting some positive feedback from the public and the officers about it. And these graphics are actually a little bit cheaper than the graphics bought 2 years ago. The graphics will come at $492, and that includes installation for a total of $984 for the graphics. Then we have to put other exterior equipment such as the siren, the lights, and all the equipment associated with that. Therefore, I'm asking for $6,650 to be paid to Sharp Communications for such equipment as emergency lights, siren, and all the other equipment associated with police emergency response needs. Custom signals will be came in at the lowest bid for a radar unit. Each unit has a cost of $4,026, so multiplied by 2, including installation, will be $10,546 for that. And then we have the computers that go into the vehicles that the officers use to access our database. And then you have the locking docks and all the associated equipment with that, and that will be $8,577.78 paid to CDW Government Incorporated. The total cost for this whole project for 2 vehicles with all the associated equipment and installation will be for a grand total of $96,369.70. So therefore, Commission, I come to you tonight to ask permission to proceed forth on approved budgeted items for the 2019 year, requesting $96,369.70 in funds to purchase 2 police response vehicles, fully equipped, ready to go.
I'll make the motion to buy 2 Dodge Durangos from Chrysler Corner, the amount of $56,720.
Now, do you want a separate motion on each item, or are we going to do the 90s?
Because they're 2 different entities for different amounts.
Okay.
Motion by Commissioner Carlisle. Did someone second?
I'll second. Oh, go ahead.
Commissioner Martinez second that we purchase 2 Dodge Durangos from Chrysler Corner in the amount of $56,720. Any discussion? All in favor? Motion carries 5-0. The next item is B, the textile, from Textile. There are 2 prices. They're $3,465.92 plus the $520 for a total of $3,985.92. Can we have a motion to that effect?
Make a motion, we do the Textile Auto and security for the installation of all police equipment, and also be doing a removal of the equipment on the Crown Vic and the Impala for $3,985.92.
Second.
We have a motion by Commissioner Carlisle, second by Commissioner Warren to approve Textile Auto and Security installation of equipment and removal of equipment in the amount of $3,985.92. Any discussion?
Actually, yes. One question I did have, is that for purchase of new equipment, or are they going to be recycling the equipment out of the old vehicles and installing them in the new ones?
This is pretty much all new equipment, since these are 2 additional vehicles that we're adding to our fleet.
Fantastic.
And yes, I did leave out that we are trading in 2 vehicles for trade-in, and the vehicles that we're trading in will need to have the emergency lights taken off of them. So excuse me for not adding that into my earlier presentation, but yes.
That's fine, and on the trade-in values, those were reflected as $1,150 and $1,050, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, any other discussion? All in favor? Motion carries 5-0.
And I'll abstain from that one.
The next one?
No, from
This
the,
one?
from the.
Okay, sorry,
No problem.
one abstention.
Make a motion, we approve the Genesis graphics for the installation of vehicle graphics on both cars for $984.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Carlisle, second by Commissioner Harden, to approve the Genesis graphics installation in the amount of $984. Any discussion? All in favor? Motion carries 5-0.
Make a motion, we approve the Sharp Communications for the interior equipment and prisoner cages on both vehicles for the amount of...
That's $11,530.
Yeah, that one.
Okay. Have a motion by Commissioner Carlisle. Did someone second it?
I'll second.
Okay, and second by Commissioner Harden to appreciate, have Sharps Communication install interior equipment and exterior equipment in the amount of $11,530. Is there any discussion? All in favor? Motion carries 5-0. The next one is custom signals.
Make a motion, we approve custom signals.
$14,572.
Yep. Yep.
Okay.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion by Commissioner Carlisle, second by Commissioner Warren, that we approve custom signals in the amount of $14,572.78. Is there any discussion?
There isn't 78 cents.
Ernie?
There's no 78 cents on that.
Oh, sorry.
That's fine, you look at the next line.
Okay, yeah, okay. Any discussion? All in favor? Motion carries 5-0. The next item is the CDW government purchase.
Make a motion that we purchase 2 Panasonic Toughbooks and Panasonic docks in the amount of $8,577.78 from CDW government.
I'll go for that. Second.
Motion by Commissioner Harden, second by Commissioner Carlisle, that we purchase 2 Panasonic Toughbooks and Panasonic docks in the amount of $8,577.78 from CDW government. Any discussion? All in favor? Motion carries 5-0.
Thank you very much. As soon as we get those in, we'll show them to you, and I'm sure you'll be quite proud of them.
Fantastic.
How many cars we got
Thank you,
left
Chief.
to get rid of it?
We've got about 5 of the black Crown Vics that are,
Still around.
Yeah, I'd really like to get rid of those. They were really reaching their end of the rope there, so.
Yep.
Thank you.
Okay, thanks.
Thank you very much, Chief.
The next item is reappointment of Global Convention and Visitors Bureau Advisory Board.
I'll make a motion, we go ahead and put Mike Brock back on the Tourism Visitor and Bureau Advisory Board.
Second.
We have a motion by Commissioner Carlisle, second by Commissioner Warren to put Mike Brock back on the Global Convention and Visitors Advisory Board. Any discussion? All in favor? Motion carries 5-0. The next item is the 15th Street drainage.
Okay. I gave each one of you a drawing from Earl's Engineering. This is kind of preliminary. We've still got some bugs to iron out, and this is the flimsiest request that I'll probably ever come to commission with, is because right now we've got an engineer's estimate of $208,000. I've got a ballpark proposal of $158,000. And what we know we have to do is the north side of that where it's constantly holding water, where everybody parks. We know we have to get that fixed before ball season starts. We also have an issue on the south side where it washes out, and we've been, I mean, when I say washed out, I would say probably, what, close to 100 ton? Washed out, behind bus. Yeah, you could park all our buses in there and bury them. And we don't. Yeah, we didn't bury the buses there though. But we have got it backfilled, but we still need to get a concrete apron in there. And I talked to Chris. We don't have 100% way figured out how we can fund this. We want to go out and look and see if we can get some help. But what we're requesting is that not to exceed $200,000 to fix the drainage around the 15th Street ball fields, which, you know, the sad part is, you know, we spent over $2 million out there, and now we're getting embarrassed every time it rains because we have to put canoes out there. So we're requesting that you approve that once Chris and I figure out how we can fund this not to exceed $200,000, and we will share with you. We're probably going to have to take $10 from Tony and $5 from Debbie, but we're going to figure out a way to make this work. We just don't have a 100% answer unless Chris's crystal ball has gave him an answer since earlier this afternoon.
Is this going to fix the situation?
But we're taking the trees down, and that comes through Can Creek. We're going to reshape that. That's what Stopple Dirt is doing. And once we get that ditch reshaped, we're going to sod it to Bermuda, I think, right, Brad? Or
we're not going to sod it.
We're going to sprig. We're going to get grass growing in there so we can mow that ditch. But then we're going to build the berm on the east side high enough so we force all the water to the west and make those ponds big so that we can force all the water, so we should not ever flood a ball field again unless we've got most all of Liberal underwater, because we got 20 inches of rain. I would say we get done, we could easily handle a 6 to 8 inch rain. Would that be a fair assumption, Gary?
Yeah, Cal, the one question I would have is, I mean, is deferring this by 2 weeks so that we can get a concrete number and get more time to be able to figure everything out going to be detrimental to the overall process of having it done before baseball season starts?
Actually, yes. I mean, we're out there working right now, and Ronnie's got a project going. We're behind the 8 ball because they start in practice in, what, 3 weeks?
Well, that was a week ago.
Yeah, that was a week ago. So, yeah, we're under the gun. We got to have stuff ready to go. And some of the work we can do ourselves, we're going to piecemeal it where we can, farm out what we can, but we kind of proved the sad part that we weren't experts in drainage or we wouldn't have this problem. So that's why we're looking at a professional contractor. But at least we're using an engineer that's giving us, you can see they've got elevations. We can do a lot of this in-house.
So when we met this morning, we were talking about the north part is the thing that needs to be done right away, and probably run the pipe to the south.
Yeah.
But a lot of that pouring the flume and the bottom and the extending the bottom and doing some of that work. If you look at the one map down the west side, we could actually block off the west side, and probably takes less, about half that money or less to get us to that point. But I would say, you know, if we don't have any, well, Matt does, I think, has some tournaments scheduled on those fields this year.
Yeah.
But those, we've had tournaments on them last year, and we were able to get through those with the parking that we had. And we can move some of that, or we did move some of that to the girls' softball fields.
But the concrete flume, Gary and Chewy informed me, was kind of a high priority, because we got that again. 2 inches of rain. What did we take out? About 3 feet of dirt that we'd already filled in?
Yeah, pretty close.
So I mean,
washes out around that pipe that we were talking about again
Correct.
too. There's a water line running through
Yeah.
there.
so
Are we gonna be shutting off Seymour Rogers?
we can't shut them off, but we're gonna reduce that flow. But part of the problem is they're not really well, they are, but we inadvertently flooded our own ball fields. When we pushed the trees out on the west, we diverted how that channel ran coming through there. It was supposed to run, all that water that come from Seymour Rogers was supposed to go into that big pond. And we inadvertently, when we pushed out the trees.
Pushed it on the field?
Yeah.
Chris, do you have any kind of general idea where the bulk of this money is going to come from?
Well, preliminary, when Cal and I talked, I thought potentially maybe, we've been talking about sports tourism, like an economic development type thing. And I guess that's kind of part of my thing is I realize it would probably be difficult to approve something without having some sort of funding in place. But with, the idea that we're working on funding sources, we can always, try to, I guess having a maximum amount out of a particular place, but with the idea that we'll try to offset it as much as possible. Like Cal said, looking at grants or that type of thing.
Well, if you're gonna take it out to tourism, I wanna know approximately how many people's gonna be spending the night in hotels.
Oh, no.
She's talking about economic development. I think
Economic development.
Yeah, 'cause
from the sports tourism aspect of.
Of economic development.
Yeah.
That's what you're saying.
Well, yeah,
And actually, we were talking about that earlier today with Ronnie, is we've actually got some teams from outside of Liberal that just really want to play in our league. So they would be coming in we'd start playing at 5:30, 6 o'clock. Well, they're going to eat, they're going to buy gas, they're going to do shopping here. So we're going to bring in some additional money just by having out-of-town teams in our league that we haven't had in the past few years.
Well, and I think everybody knows that this needs done and needs addressed. It's just, that's a lot of money to have to be moving around throughout different accounts without having a solidified place that we know it's coming from to be able to even start the project. And figuring it out on the fly can be cumbersome.
It's not an easy problem, and like I said, time's not our friend in this case. So.
Yeah, I mean, that's... But the sad part is we've spent over, we've invested $2 million, so what's 10% to fix it so we can play on it, and we're not being embarrassed with our staff out there in canoes on the front page of the paper.
Just gonna fix the softball fields too?
This part is strictly because the softball fields, we've already got that project in place with taking out the trees and reshaping that and putting in the pump station and the drain pipe. This is basically fixing everything on the north and west side that got ignored. But this should take care of, when we get done everything, well, Gary bailed me out here, but when we get done with reshaping our canal, putting our lift station in, and this drainage, we should not have any problem on ball fields. Is that correct?
Do we have the money in economic development?
Yes, sir.
I guess we'll go with the motion not to spend over $200,000 on the ball fields for drainage. Coming out of the economic development 1 cent sales tax.
If necessary. Hopefully we can go out and reach out and get some help. But
I guess, and if we could have in the motion out of 1 cent sales tax to be offset by any other resources.
Yeah, that'll work.
I don't know how you present, how you word that, but.
However Alicia puts it down.
Yeah.
But I would prefer to have that as part of it.
Okay.
And I do apologize for coming with such a flimsy request, but if we wait till I have a concrete answer, we're gonna have mad people again. Yes, sir.
Hey, just for clarification, so the public don't get confused, Seymour Rogers doesn't flood him. Seymour Rogers, the junior high over there, that's Mellor.
Okay, excuse me, whatever. Yeah.
So people don't go,
Yeah.
there's water getting over there.
Thank you, Brad.
Okay. Your motion is? Do you want to restate your motion?
Yeah, we're gonna, no more than $200,000, but if we get any other resources. Okay.
We have a motion by Commissioner Carlisle. Do we have a second?
Second.
We have a second by Commissioner Warren to work on the drainage for 15th Street ball fields not to exceed $200,000 from economic development, right? 1 cent sales tax to be set off by other resources if possible. Is that correct? Is that what you want?
Yeah.
Okay. Any discussion?
Well, I figure between Chris's paycheck and Callan's and,
All in favor? Motion carries. Are you abstaining?
No, that'll be a no for me.
Okay. The next item is your report.
Okay. Well, as usual, I want to thank staff. They've really been working hard, especially since we got rain in December, and every department that's outside is way behind. I really want to thank you guys for busting tail, and we got a lot of stuff to catch up still, but I do want to, it's noticed. We appreciate it. The other thing I've got is Bob Emmel is unable to be here tonight because he is in Florida talking with a gentleman that may give us some more help at the Air Museum. Unlike in the past, Bob doesn't talk about what he could do. He's actually doing. And I really want to thank him. And what he's got going on right now is he's worked out with the Collins Foundation. They will bring in a B-24 Liberator heavy bomber, a B-17 Flying Fortress heavy bomber, a B-25 Mitchell medium bomber, and a P-51 Mustang to the Air Museum on March 25th, 26th, and 27th. Okay, for those that's not familiar, this was a B-24 base, and Chris really wants, I don't know if Chris will let him get away with the B-24 once they land it, but what they'll do is there'll be a $15 charge to tour the airplanes, which they will give us back $7. So we will not charge anybody to get in the Air Museum. It'll be strictly to see the airplanes. In addition, we'll be providing motel rooms and providing 2 rental cars for their staff while they're here for the 3 days. In addition to the tours, for the guys that really like airplanes, there'll also be the opportunities for people to go on rides in the airplanes. For the bombers, there'll be a half-hour ride for a minimum of 6 people with a maximum of 10 persons each. The B-24 and the B-17 cost $450 per person. The B-25, $400 a person. The P-51 is actually a 2-seat aircraft used to train pilots. For a half hour of flight training in the P-51, the cost is $2,400 for a 1-hour flight training session.
Probably very.
The cost is $3,400. The flights, and actually I've already got one guy that's bringing his logbook because he wants it logged that he flew a P-51.
Wow.
And so, that, if nothing else, it'd be nice just to go out and see them. Ball fields, we're coming along. We're getting on the fence. Pine Street, I gave, all of you should got a brochure from, that we put out, Pine Street. It's published. They will be started on it. They will be working on that in phases. There's a map that's broke out that tells you where there's got phase 1, phase 2, phase 3. So that will be started, when are they starting, Gary?
Monday.
Monday. So Pine Street from 54 to Kane will be new before the summer's out. Also, Frank Holman has decided he is going to retire. So we've got, I don't have the dates, but we'll have a retirement for Frank at the Girl Scout building. It'll be 2 to 4, and I forgot the date.
It's 28.
28th.
When is he actually returned?
That's his last day, the 28th.
The 28th.
And Tim Macario will take over March 1st.
So we appreciate Frank and his years of service, and I encourage everybody to come out and wish him well in his future endeavors. And that is basically it. Oops.
I spoke to a few of you before about the fireworks ordinance. I was just sitting back here thinking, if you guys have suggestions, let us know pretty quick, or Kevin Kirk. That way we can get those in that ordinance before we bring it to you and try to get a final.
I gave you what I thought today.
I got it.
Thank you.
Thanks, Skeety.
Thank you, sir. Is that it?
That's it.
Okay. I want to remind everybody that February 16th, this coming Saturday, is the adult prom at the Liberal Conference Center from 8 to 12 p.m., so be sure to attend that. March 5th is Pancake Day. March 9th is the Chamber Bash at LHS. Because of the car pedestrian event at 2nd and Kansas, some citizens have suggested that we put up signs at 2nd and Kansas which say state law, stop for pedestrians within the crosswalk, like the ones that you have posted on 2nd and Jordan and 2nd and Prospect crosswalks. Do you know the ones I mean?
Yes,
they're talking about?
Yes, I can bring that up with the traffic committee.
Okay, okay. Several people had mentioned that. They feel like we aren't doing enough to protect our pedestrians in the crosswalks, so.
I will be coming to you in the future also on some other ideas for adding to that as well.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
That's all I have.
Well, first of all, Frank Holman, thank you very much for your tenured career with the City of Liberal. That's fantastic, and I'm glad that that you're getting to step out at a time where you still have a ton of time in life to be able to enjoy everything else. Chief, I had approached you about this last year. I know you've been very busy getting everything going with the department, but we are coming up on the recreational time of the year, so I'd like us to take a look at implementing an ordinance this year that would allow the use of the ATV vehicles in town. And I believe that should really start at the PD and then move to Kevin Kirk and then come before the commission. So I'd be more than happy to help work on that with you or help provide examples from other communities. But I'll probably be asking for an update on that in the future meetings because I have quite a few people that are approaching me about that on a daily basis, seeing as how we're getting ready to have spring. Everyone else, thank you guys very much for coming. I hope that the Boy Scouts that got to attend, hopefully you guys enjoyed this. I know it might seem kind of slow, but this is the main level of government that still functions properly in this country, so hopefully we have some future commissioners sitting there. Everybody else in the community, thank you for all the feedback and all of the advice. Keep coming to the meetings, stay involved, and pay attention.
You done? Mm-hmm. I want to thank staff. Everything they've done, Frank. You know, he's been here a long time. That's about all I got tonight.
I want to go ahead and say the same thing about Frank. He's been a part of the city crew for a long time, and
he's done a good job.
Yeah, he's done a good job. You hardly hear anything because he pretty much takes care of all of his equipment and takes care of his job, and he's done such a wonderful job. Cario's going to have fun trying to fill his shoes, and I think he can do it. But I think he knows it's going to be hard too. We're really going to miss Frank, and wish him luck. Cal had mentioned a little bit about the joint project we're doing with the Baseball Association and the city on the ball field. It's been underway. The city got the old fence taken down, and we've got a crew out there working from where the 12-foot fence starts in right field over to the right field corner, which is about 300 foot of it. It's got new posts in it, and after today, it's got curb poured with drains, pipes through it, Brad. So if the water won't, we don't want the water piling up on the warning track. So that project's going good. We still have signs available. We have almost 2/3 of what we need sold to, actually we'll over-complete the project though, but we're wanting to do bullpens too on that and get that field ready for competition. But if it was gonna be as nice next week as it was this week, we would probably be better off, but it doesn't look like it. So maybe they'll miss the forecast as much next week as they did last week in reverse. So, but anyway, that's going underway and moving along good. I'd like to thank everybody else for everything they're doing in the city. Dennis, Chris, Debbie, everybody, staff, Cal. That's about all I got really, is keep everything going still.
Well, interject here in a minute. Where are we at on the South Middle School?
Pete has, I think, ordered the environmental study. And you know, Gary, if he's got it ordered or not. I haven't seen the contract. I know I told him to.
I don't know.
Okay, I'll find out for sure on that.
Let us know, please.
Also want to thank Frank for his years of service, and the budgets that we were with him, he was always pretty tight with the money and made sure he could keep equipment running with bell and wire, it seemed like. So he'll be a tough guy to follow. And also want to thank city staff who finished putting out some gravel for us out there, Brad and his crew at the depot area. Got a possibility from the Depot Heritage Board that we can get a caboose to finish up our last area there. It's in Wichita, Kansas, so Union Pacific is checking that for us, so may get our last piece put in there. So, and I'm checking with Karen to see what we can get some more grant money for that project there. So finish spending what we got, and then we'll ask for more. So. All right, that's all I have.
Thank you, John. The next item is approval of the vouchers.
I'll make a motion that we approve the vouchers in the amount of $1,728,057.49.
You have a second?
I'll second.
I have a motion by Commissioner Warren, second by Commissioner Martinez, that we approve the vouchers in the amount of $1,728,057.49. Is there any discussion? All in favor? Motion carries 5-0. Thank you for coming. Meeting is adjourned.